Okay. So I'm going to be talking to, hello everyone. I'm going to be talking to my son, the Tesla expert, Andre Crosby. So to give you an update, because I know you're not up to everything that's going on with Tesla these days, they had a investors meeting yesterday. It started at 4 o'clock. So my son and I had a 4 o'clock date in the Tesla, drinking our little wine and listening to everything, thinking it's going to be like, 35, 40, maybe an hour. Well, I left to go pick up my granddaughter, had to come back. It was still going on. I had stuff to do. So I left him in there to finish watching it, get all the updates. Finally, about 8 o'clock, he comes in the house, says it's finally over. So he's going to give us the, what did I call it, Andre? The Cliff Notes. Give us the Cliff Notes of the updates with Tesla. So go ahead.
Well, it was super informative. Anybody who's an investor in Earth, as Elon put it, should be interested in the kind of stuff that they had to say. They basically laid out the outline, which would probably take 10 years to fulfill, but they want to transform the entire Earth to a sustainable economy. So they laid out all the battery storage that's needed, all the earth materials that are needed, and the manufacturing processes that would need to take form in order to do that. It's really unfathomable. You said an investment of $10 trillion or battery storage of 240 terawatts. It's like, what is a terawatt hour? You know what I mean? It's really fascinating stuff. Everybody knows Tesla for making cars. At Investor Day, they laid out how they're going to come up with their next generation platform, which is half the cost of what a regular Tesla is now. I think the Model 3 is about $34,000, which is cheap for a Tesla. But as you lower the price of something, it opens up the market for people that can afford it by 2, 3, 4 times. So obviously there's going to be a lot of Teslas that need to be made. So for example, what?
I was going to say that's going to create a lot of jobs.
Absolutely. Like look at Nevada. They have a battery factory there. They've got a factory in New York. They've got a factory in California, here in Texas. So to give you some idea, right now, or last year rather, they ended the year with about 1.5 million cars total, but their plan is to go to 20 million cars and then beyond.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, big stuff.
Okay.
One of the things that's fascinating about Tesla is that they're obsessed with driving costs down and figuring out what's the best way to produce something and what's the best way to, get something done that makes the product not only better, but cheaper. So think like, so what they're doing, like a traditional car is, made with thousands of parts, right? It has to be stamped, it has to be painted, welded, glued, blah, blah, blah. But they've innovated manufacturing by introducing gigacasting. So like the front end of the entire vehicle and the back end of the vehicle are all just one giant piece. So that eliminates the robots and eliminates, factory space, which all of those things drives down the cost of manufacturing. Kind of nerdy stuff, I know it is, but this is the kind of thing that investors should be excited about, because if you own a piece of this company that has such ambitious goals, you figure like there's a large addressable market there. I mean, just think about their energy plans. Everything right now runs on fossil fuels. Here in Texas, there's only 30% renewable energy. The rest of that comes from fossil fuels. So there's a lot more to go. There's a lot of growth. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's really nerdy stuff. And I'm so glad I got you to tell me all about it. Yes, we have a Tesla, but if you ask me a bunch of questions about it, I'm going to refer them to you because like I just drive it.
I mean, there are a few comparisons that you could think about. Like, I mean, think about the invention of the telephone. The telephone, you know, how revolutionary it was to, have, not have to send a messenger or a raven or something, or how they used to do it in Game of Thrones, right? To actually pick up the phone and hear someone's voice from miles and miles away, but also the infrastructure that came along with that. Jobs to create the telephone poles, the copper wires that are needed, operators, and then all the businesses that came from that, telemarketer businesses and everything because of this one invention. Moving to electric vehicles is another revolution, or like the invention of the car itself. So you have to think about all the opportunity and all the money invested and came for that. Just look, I mean, the potential growth of that. Or the iPhone moment, how revolutionary that kind of stuff was. So being a part of Tesla, especially at this year, and the company itself is 20 years old. Most people don't even realize that Tesla's been around that long, but for a company of that ambition, that's still young. You know what I mean? And think about the next 20 years of Tesla is very exciting to think about.
I think we'll all be like the Jetsons. We'll be flying cars. Because if you can think of it, it can happen. And they thought of that years ago. And here we are taking people up in space just for fun.
I theorize that we'll be underground before we get above air. We still have planes, and they will have like passenger drones, like you over there in China. They're developing that kind of stuff really hard. The drones that'll pick you up, but those are like short haul kind of trips, VIP, bougie type stuff to take you to the airport. Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and when battery technology, the battery density rather increases, when you can get more power out of a smaller battery or less batteries, then that will enable more airplane electric airplanes or electric boats. Even, like, I know a lot of people like yachts, and even you said you want to retire on a yacht.
There we go.
Think about
we speaking that into existence. A yacht,
yeah,
but it has to be solar powered, because I'm not going to be putting gas in it.
Exactly. And having to worry about the maintenance of gas and those kinds of things. That's what's exciting about the future. And again, when we have a fully sustainable economy, there will be no electric bills. Think about all the people that would be relieved to have abundance of energy with no electric bill, right? That's something to get excited about.
Our electric bill is sky high. I never thought I'd be paying this much for electricity.
Exactly.
But
and the same energy can be generated from the sun.
And I say we can't live without it, but we can live without it. We just choose not to live without it.
What, electricity? I disagree. I think in today's age, there's no way we could live without electricity.
Well, in this day and age, but people live without it for years. So we just wouldn't have electric car and all that kind of stuff. Refrigerator, air conditioner.
And we'd be significantly less productive.
We'd be just trying to survive.
Yeah. We don't want to survive. We want to thrive in a sustainable economy.
So did what he have to say yesterday really take 4 hours? Could it have been done in 45 minutes or?
Well, Elon is known for going down to the detail. I mean, they went down to the kilogram level. He has this theory, this first principles approach, and that's sort of his theory to how he approaches all of his problems. So for Elon and the team, I think it's very necessary to go that deep into the weeds, just to get an idea of, well, because again, like when you're talking about converting the entire Earth, I mean, this is displacing every coal plant, every semi truck, every train, every yacht. He wants to displace all of those and to have every single mode of transportation, building, manufacturing run on completely renewable sources of energy. And a lot of people think it can't even be done, like it's unfathomable. And they laid out the plan to show, yes, this is reasonable, this is obtainable, and we're going for it. Moreover.
So that would take out oil and gas? Or will it
Absolutely.
altogether 100%, or will there still be a need for that in other areas of society, not transportation?
What he said is that in the end, the only mode of transportation that will still require fossil fuels is like rockets or jet fuel or whatever. But he said even then there is a plan to reduce that by creating methane. He said, I think oxygen and water or something like that.
What about airplanes?
There's a plan for those, eventually airplanes. Yes, that was in the part of the master plan yesterday. They have a plan to get all air travel on battery.
Wow. I guess
That's what I'm
I'd
saying.
have
Like,
found that out if I had watched all 4 hours.
yeah, it won't be today, but there's a plan to do it. And I mean, I feel like if anybody or if any company team of experts could do it, it would be the Tesla team.
So why do you think the stock went down today?
Because people are emotional investors. There was a lot of talk. People assumed that they would reveal the next vehicle. They talked about the next gen vehicle architecture and how they're going to reduce the cost and manufacturing time to produce said vehicle, but they didn't actually show the vehicle. So I think a lot of people got disappointed with that. And then there's also the highly anticipated Cybertruck, which is supposed to be built this year, but they didn't do any more talking about it. So a lot of people, I think, got upset about that. But Elon himself said that the presentation is to get your mindset on the roadmap for the next 10 years. So it's not like this stuff is going to happen overnight, but we live in a world where people want instant gratification. So I'm not surprised with that at all.
Okay. So what's your plan for the next 5-10 years?
My plan has been the same plan is to accumulate more Tesla. I'm not planning on selling. I just want to own more stock because I believe it will be the most valuable company in the world. I mean, it's hard to believe they won't be after, what they laid out last night.
Okay, you forgot to mention about the $30 or $50 a month charging for Texas overnight.
Yeah, so they want to be a utility provider here in Texas. I think they've already filed the paperwork and that kind of stuff. So they will be an energy provider here in Texas. And one of the incentives they're offering in this new program that's supposed to start in July is a $30 overnight subscription for Tesla owners. Meaning if you have a Tesla, you can charge for about $1 a night. And being an Uber driver with a Tesla in Texas, I mean, that's like rub your hands kind of moment there, like lick your lips, because that's very enticing, So, I mean, but again, that's just the beauty of where this company is going, is that they have the ability to offer a service that is totally useful to people. Taking, that's more money in our pockets, because not only do I get to go and drive Uber and make money, I get to come home, fill up the car for $1 a night and get back there and do it again. So, I mean, it just gives me more opportunities to reinvest.
And to pay it off.
Yes. But our vehicle also has the full self-driving package. And they talked a lot about their artificial intelligence plan, and part of their plan is still to have autonomous vehicle do most of the driving. They talked about robo taxis that they're going to be coming out with, and once full self-driving is enabled, we can opt into this network and send our car out to make money for us while we sleep or while we're at home, which would again pay for itself. And like, that's the beauty of this technology and where it's going.
That was our plan when we got this vehicle, was to do that.
I mean, it's still the plan. The technology isn't there yet. We are in the full self-driving beta program. There's about 400,000 people globally with this software enabled on their Teslas. But it enables the car to fully think for itself, to navigate, to plot and plan, brake automatically, turn left, unprotected turns, right turns. It's not perfect, but again, like that's the beauty of artificial intelligence. It learns, it mimics human driving, and over time, it will be significantly better and safer than human drivers. I mean, just from experience, I mean, humans are constantly on their phone, and this is Texas too. So, oh God, people drive crazy. There's been a few times, like I remember getting over to in the left lane on the highway, and instantly the Tesla snatched me back in my lane because there was a BMW flying up behind me. And I'm like, ooh, you know, just
Yeah,
little things like that.
could have been an accident.
Coulda, shoulda, or just avoid them doing a harsh maneuver. Let's say I committed to taking the lane and they're still coming up behind me. They would have obviously taken the right lane to try to swerve around me. And, it could have been some other things happening, but, safety first, right? Well,
Yes.
yeah, I would say anybody who hasn't, if you are interested in the details to watch the full Investor Day, by now they got highlight clips available that, shorten it down so you won't have to sit there for as long as I did. But I would say it's super crucial information. Yes, it's nerdy, but I mean, Elon is the richest man in the world. And if he's gung-ho on, forging a new empire, then that's where the money and the investments are going to go. They're already there. And now he's talking about turning up the heat on those investments in that process. So lots of American jobs, lots of new industries. I mean, this is yeah.
There's nothing wrong with nerding out every now and then.
I'm just saying, think about the money. As a long-term investor, think about the compound growth, the compounding growth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
you think we'll be
that's
going?
Been great.
You think we'll be going to Mars soon?
It's hard to say. I've been following a little bit about what's going on down there in Boca Chica, Texas, with the Starship, and they're supposed to be giving FAA approval to launch the biggest rocket ever. I think sometime this month. So, I mean, if everything goes right with that, who knows? We could be going to Mars in 5 years, at least send some stuff up there. Tesla's working on humanoid robots too, like robots for the home that can think and move around in space. Like you could tell this thing, make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or run to the store and give me some eggs and milk. And
that's why iRobot was playing yesterday. With Will
That's
Smith
a coincidence.
in it. Yeah. Oh, is it?
That's a coincidence.
Is it? But they were taking over the world. He was making pies and everything.
Yeah, there was kind of a grim moment during the Investor Day where Elon was asked a question about artificial intelligence. He's been saying that he feels that there should be some kind of regulation around it, much like the FAA governs planes and the FDA governs food. There should be an artificial intelligence regulatory agent before things get out of hand, just to ensure that the AI is being used for the good of the public. I don't know if you know, but ChatGPT, which was owned by OpenAI, was always meant to be kind of like an open source thing where people could see what behind the scenes of the artificial intelligence engine. But since it's been bought in by Microsoft, so it's not open anymore. It's very much closed AI, and it's for profit instead of for information. So yeah, and we know TikTok is run by artificial intelligence, and those kind of stuff can be manipulated to collect information, which could then be used against you, and yada yada. So there is some legitimate fears when it comes around the potential of artificial intelligence. But Elon has said that he strives to make good AI one that is useful and beneficial to humanity, and not one that is evil.
I was gonna say
malevolent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, keep us informed of updates, the cliff notes.
Yeah, like I say, super nerdy, but super. If you can wrap your head around where they're getting at, I think it's exciting. When you think about the liberties that come with a fully sustainable economy, I mean, think about the potential of robo taxis. Right now, Uber is kind of like the next best thing, but even Uber has its flaws. You know, you have to wait for the person, you have to ride with the person, and there's fear and safety concerns. But when you can hail a robo taxi with no driver at half the cost, I mean, it just changes the game. People will opt to not have a vehicle at that point. Why would I want to pay for a car, pay for insurance, pay for damages, pay for repairs when I can just hail a car whenever I want to go farther than I ever could for less money?
Don't have to
It's
look for
like,
a parking spot, worried about getting towed.
exactly. So when it comes to events, it's like people will be more inclined to get out more. It's like, hey, I'm going to do more because I can, I can go more places and not have to worry.
I can drink and ride and not drink and
You
drive.
can, exactly, drink and ride. Don't drink and drive.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Any more updates you want to give us?
That's it for now. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, but you want to.
Stop recording.